and storing your, oh, here we go. We're going to be talking about organizing and storing your miniatures. You know, it's an ongoing problem for a lot of people. Some of you might be better organized than some of the rest of us, but we are going to we're going to start today with a general thing on organizing and storing your miniatures. And then each month we'll have ways so we're not getting into specifics today, just a general thing. And then each month we'll have like how to store tools, how to store your different thing, you know, your kits, how to store, you know, and then we'll have people share how they do these different things. But and then the other thing we're going to be doing is how-to techniques of, what is it you call it, Marcia?
How-tos.
What?
How-tos.
How-tos, but what was the word what's Wanda's word?
Realism.
Realism. We're going to try to do techniques of realism, you know, doing techniques of aging, and we'll do other techniques of cutting, or, you know, using. So I know some people want to know how to use a table saw, and I said I think I could probably rig up something on my table saw. Of course, it all depends what kind of table saw you have, but and jigs, how to use your table saw, and a little bit about jigs. So those will be the two topics we're going to have as our monthly topics. So for tonight, hold on a minute, I'm getting some pictures up here on my screen while I'm trying to talk. This is not easy. Just took pictures because it depends where you're coming from when I'm gonna start the talk on storage and organization, and then we're gonna let the organized miniaturist Preble talk to us, because that's a whole nother thing than me talking about it. Because you know, for
you don't
instance,
claim the title.
I'm not claiming that title at all. And for instance, when Georgia got down here, she hasn't seen my new house, this house, since I moved here, and I have so much less space than I had in the last house. So I'm just downloading some of my pictures I took this morning, because this is where I'm starting from, and this is after we've organized quite a bit. So it depends where you are. If you're already very organized, this is going to be too general for you.
But you can give us tips and hints.
So what I'm going to say is, first I'll show you my pictures of my space, where I'm starting you from. Because I'm going to assume some of you may be in this place. Others of you are not. Wait a minute, I got to open all of these. Oh, there they are. All right, now I'll share screen. Hold on. Nothing like being ready for things, right? All right, here we'll start with this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Get out of there. Where are you? Oh, there's this screen. This is where I'm starting from. You can see one of where I'm starting from. And then we'll go to this one. You can see I have a little bit of organization going here because I've already got things up on the wall. But the desktop is a little messed up. And then we have this part of the room. And then where's my other picture? You can see, are my pictures changing for you?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not sure. What about this one? Is this different?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That looks familiar.
It's
And
1.5 pictures.
Pardon me?
I said it's only one and you know, bits of two other ones.
No, it's one.
Well, I don't see
Oh,
one.
well,
I see
I've
one.
shown you, I have just shown 4 different pictures, so
Right.
I'm not sure. So
Okay.
anyway, this is where all these boxes in this picture all have to be gone through and sorted through and stuff done with them. So I'm talking about starting from a real mess. If you're not starting from a real mess, you may not want to start with this lesson. But what I do, here's what I will be doing. I use paper bags from the grocery store a lot, or you can use boxes or things like that. And I put labels on them. My labels, thrift shop, auction. I'm going to post this little list on, and you'll have other things you want to add to your list too. But anyway, this is very general. Thrift shop, auction, grab bags, materials like paints, glues, anything like that. Tools, knives, sanding tools, paintbrushes, kits, all kits. At this point, I don't sort those. Big projects, not started, and then started projects. Those are some of mine that I will start with. Oh, I'm stopping the share now. Oop. Oh, sorry. But I will post that list on the files section. So if you're in that big of a mess, this is what I suggest you start. Very general. Later, we pare these down into smaller increments. Think about while you're doing this, don't put them away now, just sort them into these bags and think about where you might want to have these things go. Like some will go, mine will go in the garage, some will stay in this miniature room, some will go, depends where I have my big tools, my little tools, my big kits, whatever. And we'll address all these other ones later, but this is a general sort, not for those people who are not overwhelmed. This is when you're overwhelmed and don't know where to start. Now, are there any questions? No, you're all overwhelmed with my mess. All right, now we will move to Preble, who has got a presentation for you of some kind. And she's the organized miniaturist, and you can see that behind her.
I want to watch Preble.
And this is being recorded.
Oh,
All right, I'm going to spotlight, no, you have to spotlight Preble.
No, I'm going to share first.
Oh, you're going to share first. Okay. Just sharing screen first. Here she is. You need me to turn it up louder? I'll see how organized she is. She has a whole presentation. You can tell the difference between the organized miniaturist and the person talking about organization. Okay.
All right. As that's coming up, this is actually a repeat. If you were at the online house party last year in February, you might have seen this presentation by me, and I'm sharing it today because why do we want to be organized? And it's because we want to do more minis, or at least that's my goal of why I want to have, do more minis, be organized. So let's see here. Okay. So why do we want to do it? Why do we want to do more minis? It's worth it. I had a friend that had a motto, it's worth it, that her last name was Worth, but she believed her hobby was worth spending time on. And when it comes to organizing, wouldn't you rather spend time on making minis as opposed to trying to find them? Now she lived by this motto by playing with miniatures every day. And if you can't do minis every day, that's fine, but plan to do them often. I love the Zooms. That really helps me you know, if I don't do anything else, if I go to one Zoom, at least I've done, you know, a little bit.
I thought it was the doggy.
No, it was
And
me.
put it on your calendar. I have an alarm set for 7 o'clock because that's what time most of these things start for me. If I'm busy doing something else, I just dismiss the alarm. But if I want to go, I'm gonna get up and go and do that, Zoom. When you're doing minis, don't compare yourself to others. Everybody starts out at different levels, and but it's too easy to get caught in comparisons, and that it's not helpful, it's not beneficial. Everybody was a beginner at some point, and we're all at different points. We all have different skills. I'm not great at clay. So, someone else, I don't ever teach clay, I've done very little of it. So, I'm fine with being still a beginner on that one. And when it comes to not comparing yourselves to others, but also actually getting experiences, think about when you learn to write your name, it takes practice to get better. It's a skill that you have to learn. Whether it's, making it neatly in a pretty fancy writing or just plain Jane, nothing fancy letters, you had to learn how to do that. And it took practice. And another thing, making minis is not a competition unless you've actually entered one. Our challenge for Create is strictly to do minis, not who's better than other people. Being organized so you can do more. Like I said, this is why I call myself the organized miniaturist. I don't claim to be the most organized. I love to organize because it helps me to do more. And when you're able to find what you're wanting to use, it makes you more efficient. Some people think or believe that being in chaos is more creative. And, if they can produce results, then I'm not going to argue with them. But at the same time, everything doesn't have to be in chaos. They have to have some organization in their mind of knowing how to get whatever it is that they're getting. And, so the other thing is when you consolidate like items, Barbara was talking about that, putting that paint together, putting those tools together, it helps eliminate noise of extra packaging and also avoid redundancy. It's okay if you end up that way, but at least you got it all together. Being organized doesn't require a fancy toolbox or special shelves. Use what you have until a later time. I am constantly changing what I organize with because I'm given things. I find things at a thrift store. I find something on sale at the store, or there's just something I'm like, this toolbox is going to be really great for me to take with me, somewhere. Keep it super simple to start. I mentioned a simple toolbox that I've got two different kinds here in this picture. It could be a cup or a basket. I like project boxes. So if I have a project that I've bought and whether it's finished, or unopened, or it's in process and I've put it away, it's in its own box. It's all together. And have a place to do minis, but that can be as simple as a TV tray. Make it portable for going to your club if you go to a physical location, or if you have a shared location like the dining room table. That's why you want it to be portable. You can pack it up easily. And here's another one. I think I have to clean up after myself because of my cats. Okay. But I think it's actually made me more efficient because when I come back the next day, I can find those tweezers and I can find those paintbrushes and I can find that glue special glue that I want. It's all, I have a spinner. I'm pointing to it because it's right here. So cleaning up really actually can help you if nothing else. to do more minis, learn from the best, take a class, watch videos, read a book. There are lots of great artisans out there who are teaching us in many and different ways. If you're interested in learning a specific technique or working with a particular medium like clay, an internet search for that. There's so much out there on YouTube, on the internet, that you can learn how to do. And it's not just name that's doing it. There's so many other miniature people out there. They may not call themselves a miniaturist, but they're doing miniatures. They're just not calling them that. So when you're doing search, don't always add the word miniature. It might be a scale model. It might be you just want to learn a painting technique. Painting faces is what I've got illustrated here. Do a search for painting faces and you'll find a ton of stuff out there. So when it comes to doing minis, let's do it. People who are productive with making minis are choosing to spend their time on minis. I get it. Life is busy. We decide we want to, do other things for whatever the reason, that's fine. But if you want to say you want to do more minis, then do it. And same thing would be true of organizing. If you want to be more organized, you have to do it. Another way to do more minis is to join a club. You're part of a club right now. This is mini Cyber Club. And I love our monthly meetings. I've learned so much. I used to be a member and didn't ever come to the meetings. So that was bad on me because there's so much we share each month. And don't stress when you choose other activities over minis. Life happens. Nothing wrong with that. Being inspired to do more minis. When you join a group and see what they're doing, you're gonna, I feed off of that. I'm inspired by others to do more by looking at eye candy, whether they're showing it in a Zoom or whether it's, pictures on the internet, or Pinterest or whatever. But here's another thing, maybe get off the internet, the computer, because those can be intimidating or a time waster, as in you can look at all the organizational ideas in the world to buy on Amazon or on Pinterest. But if you don't ever buy anything or use anything or actually sort through that stuff, it's just inspiration and it's a time waste. If you do sign up for a contest, be selective about what you sign up for. I used to swap all the time until I had too much swaps. I
Yes,
stopped swapping because I just decided that I wanted to do projects instead. But if it's a theme that's right, then take the time to do it. It can actually inspire you to do more minis because, hey, I want to get this swap done so I can get the other swaps back and then I can, put it together. Another thing, and this is great for that sorting time, listen to music. Watching TV is going to be distracting because you're going to go, oh, what are they saying? Oh, or let me back that up. Where music just comes into the mind and it's like soothing, and pick whatever music you like. And it's been proven that people are more creative when they listen to music.
Okay.
Doing minis should be fun. Whatever you do, don't make it a chore. When it comes to that organization, don't make it like, oh my God, I gotta get all of this done today. Take it in small bites. And if it's not fun and relaxing, enjoyable, then change something. Just like say, I'm just going to go through and this one box. And, don't can think of it, I got to do the whole room all at once because it's going to be chaos when you're doing it, but allow yourself to do that. And if you're always late to a deadline, like those swaps I mentioned, then buy them instead of making them, set personal deadlines for getting a certain amount done. 2 years ago, I decided that I was going to actually give miniatures to family members. And I said, I'm going to make sure that I get them done in October. So I'm not obsessing of them in November when holidays start. And then in December, I'd be freaking out. So I did them and I said, I got to have them done by October, and it worked. I ended up going over a little bit into November, but that was only a few days. And I felt really good about giving those miniatures away. If you don't like stress, don't sign up for the swap. Don't decide that you're going to give miniatures to your family. Just, make miniatures, do it fun. When it comes to getting it done, we can talk and plan all we want, but if we don't sit down and do, we won't get anything done. You can buy all the tools, all the kits, make all the schedules, but if you never use them, it will just collect dust and it's going to be chaos or get hidden away. This collecting may bring joy, and that's okay, but it won't get those kits done. Share the good and the mistakes. We're all human. So decide to do what is it you really want out of minis. Prioritize the time to do, put it on your calendar, prepare to do, get a toolbox, projects, boxes, and a spot ready to do. That's part of what we're going to be talking about, is how that you can make it better, easier for yourself to do more minis. Set goals, sign up for a monthly challenge or swaps, and then do more by enjoy minis, inspire others. My little clip here is from my website.
I don't have
The
one
way to
anyway.
get started is to quit talking and begin doing.
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney. So thank you coming to, like I said, this was from last year, but these are my three. This is my email. This is my website where I talk about what I've made, how I made it, and all my mistakes. I'm very open about my mistakes. I make them all the time, and I'm learning. And then the organized miniatures. I claim the title. I'm not the most organized, but I am organized as a miniaturist. That's it.
So can you put those contacts in maybe the chat? So
Sure.
if we have questions, we can.
Yeah, I already put my email, but yeah, I can put my website and the organized miniatures thing on there. And since we did say we're not going to do any sharing, I'm good because I didn't set up my camera, but I do have my beads here if we want to look at them later, but for now, I'm good.
Not doing anymore?
Mhm.
That
I have a
probably-
question.
Yes.
Rebel, I've moved 3 times in the last 4 years and downsized twice. And right now I have a craft room that is dedicated to miniatures and also desktop publishing. The room is so chaotic when I walk in there. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I don't know whether it's better to just shove everything on one side and start picking at it a little bit. I don't even know where to begin. And then I get frustrated.
pick up-
Yeah.
Make
Well,
those bags and pick up
yeah.
one thing and put it in one. That's what you have
Yeah.
to do. You just pick up something and put it in. That's,
To get started.
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
you're in the position of what I was talking about, and you're the chaotic room, which I have. I just have to
Like
go to
things.
my desk, pick up one thing and put it in a bag. Put some labels on
Yeah.
bags and put it in there.
Okay.
Set a timer.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with, try 5 minutes and just say, I'm just going to go through one box and I'm going to spend 5 minutes on it. If you get it done, that's great. And if you don't, if nothing else, start putting your bags together, because you didn't get into a chaos all at once. You know,
No, I knew
you
I
moved
knew where
3
everything
times,
was.
you've done, you know, it may seem like you did it all at once because you moved, but when you, before you moved, there had to have been some chaos because like when if I move, I've got, mine's all consolidated, and even though it might not be totally organized when I put it on my shelves, I still know I can go to this box and get plastic, and I can go to this box and get metal, or, you know, my
Right.
bead boxes. So it took a while to get mess and, you know, accumulate it. So that's why it's going to take a while to organize it in whatever fashion that you choose to do so.
Yeah, some of it's organized already in boxes and with labels and things, and there's no rhyme to the, you know, there's no organization where it's just chaotic.
Well, I mean, maybe start with those and say, okay, these can be put on the shelf, and maybe just put them on the shelf.
Mhm.
And because they're in boxes,
And
it'll
labeled.
feel more organized
Does,
And I
as opposed to
exactly.
just a bunch of stacks of stuff. You still may
Right.
have to go through them, some of them.
I have not even begun to show you the boxes I do have that are organized, that are stacked. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
those I
goal-
thought I would talk about later, and we'll talk about those in later months, but yes, anyway.
we've got a couple hands up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elaine.
Elaine,
Yeah, I was, first of all, thank you, Preble. That was really very
was.
helpful.
Really,
inspirational.
I mean, I have sort of a unique situation in that I live in 2 different houses. And so my miniatures are sometimes not in the location I want them to be, which means I can't work on them. So I can't show you my organization because that's back home in St. Louis. Here in Florida, I have the guest room, and I have the chest of drawers that's in there and the nightstands, and that's it. And that, but I don't bring much down here, so that holds it. But what I just wanted to say, last year, my husband and I undertook a project of even bigger proportions than dealing with all your miniatures. We had inherited all of our family's photographs, all of them, going back generations. And they were
boy.
in boxes and boxes and boxes, no labels. And we decided this had to stop now. We wanted our children to be able to say, hey, that's my great-great-grandmother, not who the heck is that?
Mm.
So, but it's a very similar situation, and that's why I'm even bringing it up. We started with a dining table full of shoe boxes. And just, you know, it was parents, you know, all the parent pictures in that box, grandparents, you know, grandchildren, I mean, whatever category, but the fact of getting them into some kind of category and starting to break down the mess, and that's what it was.
Mhm.
We have now finished albums for each of our daughters and given them to them. We are working on an ancestry album that will be essentially a family tree going back. And we're working on albums that we want to keep for the, you know, for the time being. Our kids will get them eventually. But it was just the concept of you have to start somewhere. And like for Anita or anyone else facing the mess, bags, like Barb says, we use shoe boxes because that was more appropriate for photographs.
Mhm.
And just start. Just say, today I'm doing 10 minutes.
yes.
And
Same
just begin,
principle.
you know, the giant pile slowly begins to end up in its boxes. And then you can tackle each box and break it down further. We threw away thousands of pictures.
Mhm.
It hurt,
Mm.
but we
It hurt.
did.
And what
Because
I learned doing this, I did this last year also. And at least they don't take as much space as throwing away miniatures, but you can't, and don't recycle your old pictures.
Mm.
You should not recycle your old pictures. They have a coating on them and you're not supposed
Yeah,
to.
no, they went into
them in
regular
the-
trash. But, you know, we had some things, we had 4 or 5 copies, same
Mm.
picture. Because
Right.
at some point, you
Sure.
know, the newborn baby, well, we sent it to mom and grandma and aunt whoever, and they all ended up back in our house.
It makes you
So,
wonder where things are gonna go with this younger generation when all of their photographs are on their phones.
well,
And not shared,
my,
yeah.
my
So they won't have to
family,
worry
yeah.
about.
I was gonna say, my kids know you don't just leave them on the phone. You back them up, be it to Google Cloud or, I mean, I don't know, I'm not the tech
External
person
hard
at all.
drive.
But it's somewhere backed up, flash drives, hard drives, something.
Right.
Yeah, after 24 or 5, I didn't have any more actual photographs, or very few, because it was all digital. And I
Yeah.
haven't tackled that yet. That's next year. We're gonna tackle the digital ones next year and organize them a little better. But anyway, that's just another example of something that you have to tackle. But if you just go into it with, all right, here's what's the broadest categories I can break things down to, find boxes or bags to put them in, and just start.
Yeah.
And once you start, it actually goes, you find yourself wanting to work on it. It's like, I got 10 minutes. Let me go play with some pictures or miniatures or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
So
And
that's all I have to
digital
say.
ones you can put in albums and then put them on a stick or something. And yesterday I went into on my email screen into photos, and that was all they said. I don't even remember going back to 2014. So I cleaned it up at least, but I didn't do anything else. But I deleted a lot.
When I first started with digital photos, I was really organized. I was so proud of myself. I had categories for everything. And then more and more and more came in. And so now I have things that say
Overwhelming.
pictures to be filed, pictures to be sorted, more pictures to be sorted. You probably all have something similar. And so that's what I'm hoping to tackle this year and get them
Now, all
into
of my-
this
all of my
original
pho-
grid.
All of my
You're
photos
probably organized.
for family are organized by year and by at least by month, if not by event. And then all of my miniature photos are organized by scale and then by project. And then for 148, I have projects that are planned or in process. And then I have another folder that's just completed ones.
Yeah,
And then
I
have
started
other
in a
folders.
Goodness.
similar
Theme.
fashion.
I have other photos by theme. So yeah, that's part of is, I mean, it's not 100%. I mean, I've got my little pockets of things that need to be, but I do try to clean it up pretty regularly. So that, and just, you know, when you do that data dump from your phone to your computer, sort it into folders and back everything up. These things that we have are not forever, even though they may seem like it. Flash drives, CDs, all of those are not forever. They do need to be backed up somewhere, at least one other place.
Sue Ellen, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I did. I was going to say I like to use the 2.5 gallon plastic bags. They're easy to seal. And I just put a big old piece of paper in there that says what's supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
And then you can see it, which is easy. But and what I did with my process, the other thing I used was plastic shoe boxes back when you could get them for $1 each.
Yeah.
And and they were all labeled. They still are. But basically what I did was I sorted, and I'm not done. I'm still in motion and I don't know. But anyway, the 2.5 gallon plastic bags, like I said, they're very nice because you can seal it and you can see what's in there. So are the shoe boxes. But then once I got to a point where I had sorted out stuff, I realized that I don't have a lot of this, or I don't have a lot of that. And the reason is because you don't want a lot of it, you know? So then now I kind of downsize or I combine things, and they might not always be, you know, it might not always be like furniture or stuff. it might be several categories in one box, but it's labeled and it makes sense to me. It might not make sense to someone else who comes in and reads the labels, but, and then, you know, a box for giveaway. I have a box with boxes with some people's names on it because they're things I think they would like. And the other important thing that I'm doing more and more of is that whatever you do, when you pick something up, try and put it, you know, like in the box or the place that you want it. Don't wait until you have a little pile and then try and remember to take it over to wherever it was you put the
Right.
stuff. Because you get distracted and like Preble said, life happens. And the next thing you know, you get the, like Elaine was saying, you get the file folder or the extra box that's got, you know, this to be sorted. This is got to go over here. I mean, I think of it as a good exercise. You
Yeah.
know, you can be efficient and be really clever and put all this stuff away. But, you know, sometimes it's good to get up and walk. And so
Yeah.
some of the stuff's in the other room. And I take my one little item and I trot into the other room.
Mhm.
But, you know, I've gotten up, I've gotten some exercise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a little more sorted. So, and it's very much an ongoing project.
Yeah.
I remember reading somebody who's really a good organizer, and they said when you get mail that comes in, you know, into your household, only handle it one time. Don't
Yep.
look at it and put it in a stack, because then you got to look at it again and decide what to do
Yeah.
with it, decide what you're going to do with it, and do it as it comes in.
Yeah.
So that's
That's where my
probably-
junk mail goes is, you know, okay, junk mail, but the bills, you know, they do kind of get handled multiple times. One comment I'll make about, I like your idea, Sue Ellen, about the bags and they're being clear. But one thing that I learned early on was think about when you're once you've done the sorting, like what Barbara was talking about, and you're ready to move to the next phase, which is really figuring out homes for all of this stuff, you know, all your tools or all your paints, or especially those project boxes. Think about what size box you would want to put them in, and don't just go willy-nilly and buy a whole bunch that are big, because big means that you're going to dig. If you have big items like landscaping, okay, maybe, but even if you have a 1-inch scale dollhouse, you're not going to put the whole dollhouse in that box. Maybe have a box that's just furniture for this room and another box for this room. That way you don't have to go through and dig through the whole box, because I dealt with that and I was like, this is not working. My beads were like that. They were all neatly in there, but then when I wanted to use them, I had to dig through and it was like a puzzle trying to put it back together. That didn't work.
Yeah.
So
Can you
No,
talk a little bit about
I
how you?
agree. Standard stuff works best. I mean, even if you have to go out and buy a certain size box, I like those 3-drawer little cube looking things, sort of like what you have behind you, because they're deep
yeah.
enough, but they're not too deep.
Mhm.
And they just but nowadays all this stuff is like jumped in price. I figure I have a fortune in storage containers here,
Ding, 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 ding. Me too.
Well, can you talk a little bit about the paints that you have behind you? They're on their sides, and it looks like you have colored.
Okay, so I'll scoot this a little closer. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. So these boxes are cigar boxes. And I have underneath them, I have a piece of two pieces of wood that I glued together. The purpose of this is to tilt the box just a little bit. I probably could even go a little bit more, but that's what I've got right now is 2 layers of this. They're just scrap laser pieces.
What kind of boxes are they?
They're cigar boxes.
Oh.
Let me pull this one out. So they're these were given to me. I'm gonna see about getting some more that, like if somebody wants a box full of boxes, I will be happy to send them to you, but I don't have any yet, but anyways, there was no cutting to height. All I did is cut that lid off that, cigar boxes have. This person smokes a lot of cigars. And put them I love to sort by color. I love color. That's one of the things. It just works for me. And when I turned them on their side like this, I really liked how it looked, but I had small dots, and so I went back and made bigger dots, and I wrote the name of the color on them. Now, if you're into particular type of brand, maybe put a little dot that means a particular brand or something, but that's what that is. In behind this, because this shelf is a little deep, I have these boxes, which I used to use these boxes.
Well, those
These-
cigar boxes are really thicker than the ones that I have. I mean, my paints won't fit in them. They're not
Okay.
deep enough.
Yeah, these are, I think it's because there's a 49 cigars in this box. It's like a big box of cigars. It's not a smaller one. Okay, I used to use priority mailboxes that I cut down to height. Now these are all used. None of them were, I didn't go get the ones that they give away, and I used all used ones for a while. They only hold 6. It's fine until you're like, man, I have so much room here. And then, and it's not impossible that you could do this, that would work if you want to.
Are they priority boxes?
They are the small priority boxes.
Okay, I thought that's what they were. Yeah.
Yeah, and I cut them to a specific height. I have a bunch of those still, but for my purpose, they're twofold. One is so that if I push against it, if I push against it, now that it doesn't have those in there, it goes all the
Right.
way. That's too far back for me.
Sure.
But with these, it stops them. But
Uh-huh.
what else I do is I put my duplicates in this location, which kind of narrows down how much I have in, this is just all the color. I have about a half a dozen or dozen in behind. Now
Where do you-
everything that I've used for that's not a cigar box
I should have.
is this,
I'm not starting
and this was a laundry detergent box that I cut down to the height that I wanted. I used to use these, but I've got a few things in there, and they fit. That's why I still have this, why I'm still using it.
And where do you write your color of the name of the paint? Where do you write that on the?
It's on,
Oh, okay, on the cap.
yeah, it's literally on the cap.
Okay.
And I used a permanent marker. Some of it I had to write in the actual paint, like here I wrote across the actual paint.
Mhm,
Now,
mhm.
someone mentioned to me this week that they did this and their paint, fell off. So maybe putting some stickers on it
Uh-huh.
and then doing the paint. And then, when we have these type where it's yellow, the gold, you want, now this actually has a sticker that's supposed to match that color, but I did put paint on that little sticker just to see how closely it is, because the sticker's shiny and the paint's not.
Mhm.
But because this is colored, it's not going to give you a true color of what your paint would be.
Right.
So putting a white sticker on it would be a good idea.
Mhm.
And white stickers are something you could buy, like for yard sales. So for a pretty reasonable cost. All right, did that
Thank you.
answer your question about?
Yes, thank you very much. That's great.
Okay,
But the reason for this is, like, if I pull this one out, or especially if I pull from the bottom, and of course they're not going to do it while I'm on video, they'll slide out. Like this one's starting to slide out here.
Mhm.
So as I use them, Some of them will just fall down, but I have had them fall out on me, so that's why I started tilting them.
Oh, okay. I was wondering why you did that. Okay.
I have a rack that I bought that holds a lot of paints.
Yeah,
And
well,
I
I
do
was too cheap
also.
for that. Cause I was like,
Yeah.
and the other problem I had with it was I don't have a wall that I'm gonna put anything on. And I felt like it needed to be on a wall, either up against it, because it would be so heavy. That's why the shelves worked for me.
I have one that rotates. So
Mhm.
it sits on a small table that
yeah,
I don't
mine
know, we
was.
were getting rid of. I didn't know what to do with. I just stuck
Yeah.
it in my workshop area. And the rack sits on there and it revolves. And
Okay,
it
let's get
holds
back to,
most of the paint I have, not quite all, but most.
let's get
But
back
that,
to,
those don't hold the little paint bottles.
Yeah,
okay, hold it. Let's get back to what items you want to find storage thingies for, not specifics of what storage is right now.
Okay.
And like Treble referred to, and I had on the email that I sent, the goal for this year is to put everything where you can find it. So when you need something for a project, you know exactly where to go and find it. And a place for everything and everything in its place from your work table and all. The list that I posted of the items, have you read that? Are there any other items that you would like to see what and how you could store them?
Where is that list? On
On
the
the
end?
email.
It was in the
But
email.
I will get it up here.
Okay.
If I can get rid of, well. It won't let me get out of this. It won't let me do it because of the recording.
Barbara, you're muted if you're talking.
Barbara.
There, now I'm unmuted. Okay.
Okay, I
Um,
get to that
we,
list.
we were intending to have individual months on specific items. Like we will have a whole topic on storing your paints, on storing your brushes, on caring for your brushes, and other tools and things. So we would like you to enter, lists of things you want, like Marcia was asking. Where are you having them put it, Marcia? Just send you an email?
So, yeah, or put it in the chat box and I can copy that.
Yeah.
I can't
put
get
it
to
in
my
the-
list because this is recording. Can you get to yours that I sent? The email?
Did you send me a whole list?
Yes,
In the email.
or somebody that has it.
I can probably pull it up.
Okay,
I have it.
There we go.
It's not something you posted on the group, or is it?
yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay, then I have, and
Is it
I
email?
was
It's trying to
And-
open.
Yeah,
email,
There
it was an
Okay,
email
here we go.
post to the IO group or to
Yeah,
the committee?
Treble has it here.
the
Yeah,
whole
but I
There's the
just would
list.
like to know where I would find,
Oh,
oh,
it
here
was
it
to,
is.
it was to Maine's mini cyber club.
Okay,
On an
well,
8:20
yeah,
this
then-
morning.
Oh, that was this morning. Okay.
Yeah, so she has
yeah,
wood
just this
strip.
morning, but it depends whether it comes through the group or not, how I search for it, so.
Sure. Wood strips, sheets, small components, paints, beads, kits, wallpaper.
Can you scroll up?
Books and magazines about minis, printies, hand tools, fabric, clays, electric components, hardware, landscaping supplies, accessories, furniture, foods, files for project instructions, work in progress project.
And I've added to that brushes, sandpaper, sanding blocks, emery boards, that type of thing. including with fabric is ribbons and lace, material, ribbons, lace, that sort of thing. Sticky things, adhesives, glues, tapes, etc. And containers, little containers, Ziploc bags, portion cups,
Really good.
small little plastic boxes or whatever. But anything that you have quite a few of that you would like to suggest how to store it or would like to
Or
know.
know how
store it?
other people, if you want to know how other people store it, or if you're able to share that when we get to that topic, that would be good too, because we will want that.
Right.
So if anyone thinks of anything that they want to add to the list, let us know. The other thing that we would like, and I don't have a copy of that I can get to, but anyway, is the how-tos. We mentioned realism is one of them. Fabric, draping, and clothing, dolls, anything to do with fabric was another one. And I can't remember right now what else has been talked about, and I can't get to that. It's on the committee. Oh, Elaine, committee files.
Yes.
I think it's on there.
Want me to go look?
Yeah.
Marcia, one thing I had mentioned about realism is with this, the clays, and they
Yes.
make the hamburger, but the
Yes.
hamburger is that big for a 1 inch. Like it's like they'll have the bread and then a layer of meat and then the cheese, but everything is so thick. That's not a realistic item.
Yes, and I did add that to one of
Okay.
the things that I've got for the committee and all, yeah.
Sometimes too, I think when you do your organization, as time goes on, things change.
Yes.
You know, it may be where you're working in a lot of 1 inch, but now you're working at quarter scale. So there's going to be flexibility in there. There's going to be some changes in there, but I think what we're generally trying to say is when we want to find the tweezers, we know where to go find the tweezers.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's future ideas or something like that.
Mhm.
Elaine,
I did not find it. It
on
was
committee,
not in the files. It wasn't in the
I'll make
committee
a
files.
list and put it on the
Is it-
file.
Is it in the regular file? You know, the general files?
no, committee,
No, I didn't find it.
okay,
Sorry,
well, that's okay. I thought it was there, maybe it's not.
I didn't see it.
I've got it on my computer, but I can't bring it up because of the recording.
They're listed on a posting that you made earlier. You made one at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then there was another one at 8:30.
Yeah,
And it's-
that was
It's the
the,
one at 8:30 that has the list. I just found it and
That
copied
was
and
the-
pasted it to myself.
the organization part. It didn't have the
Mhm.
how-tos on it.
You can
Yeah.
always repost it later, Marcia.
Yeah.
But again, we need
Maybe
your
I'll find my
suggestions of
graphic
what
board
you
with that.
want to learn
Miscellaneous.
more about,
Mhm.
or that you can teach others, that you can teach the group
I've got-
how to do.
I must have 500 paintbrushes.
I don't know if you have this on your list, Marcia, but one of the most difficult things I have found to organize are all the really small accessories,
I guess,
tote bag favors,
yes,
swaps even, you know, all of that miscellany, I don't know what else to call it.
yeah,
I
accessories
have
on
a
there.
system, which again, when I'm back in St. Louis in a few months, I will be happy to share some of the things I do.
Yeah,
But I've never found a good answer for how to sort or store those other than literally a big box that says miscellaneous stuff.
That should be your smallest box.
Well, it would be nice.
In
but-
theory.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, and a lot of it is things, like tote bag favors. All right,
Right.
people work really hard on those. I don't want to just throw them out. I don't know if I'll ever use them, to be honest. But I need to store them somewhere. And
And
I-
usually you can categorize some way or other, either by the theme.
well, some can be scale certainly, but beyond that,
Yeah.
sometimes Carolyn is very much wants to say something.
Yeah,
Okay.
Elaine, I want to know, what scale are you using? Are you doing quarter or are you doing?
I
One
do
inch?
all scales. That's
Okay,
that's
let me show
problem
you.
one.
I
So I
have it
do
right
all
here. Let
scales.
me show you what I just did with my 1/4 inch stuff a few months ago. Hold on. They were a little expensive, but coupon sales at Michael's. I found the photo storage totes.
Yeah,
a minute,
I
this is one
use
I found.
those for several things, but I've
Mhm.
not used them for those kind of things.
Carolyn, can you spotlight Carolyn,
Yes.
Marcia? Because I
Yeah,
can't.
that's great, Carolyn.
All right,
Yeah,
I actually
those are nice.
now. But then what I went through because
Can't
when
hear
I
you, Carolyn. It's when you hold it up.
okay,
It's got all those little boxes inside of
it's
a
got
big box.
little
'Cause
flat
I
box.
use, yeah,
And then what I did was I used to have a lot of my stuff in the photo boxes, the
Mhm.
cardboard, the paperboard I can get from Michael's because they fit nicely on some of the shelving I had. And except it just said tote bag favors or totes and swaps or
right,
whatever.
exactly.
And everything was thrown in there. And after a while, from all the years of house parties, and this is just 1/4 inch now, that I was doing, I must have had 8 or 9 of these boxes. So every time I wanted to find something, it was to go through 9 boxes of stuff to see what lights what lamps I had for some project, or if I had rugs or whatever.
Mhm.
So what I did is back this summer, early fall, I got a couple of these, and then what I did was I took each one and made, and just pull out, like, I do have a couple that say miscellaneous because I didn't know where to put them, but it's only this big.
Right.
So what it is it's one of those little boxes, and I just have a label maker. I just marked it on 2 places in the front so I can see it when it's in the box, and on the top. That way, okay. So you can read it,
Okay.
okay?
Mhm.
And then everything is just stored in these 2 boxes. So if it's not in one, it's in the other one. And then when I want to find something, I have a box that says it's lighting. So any little lamps, any stuff like that I have, but now this is all 1/4 inch, so it fits in these small boxes.
Mhm.
And so far that's helping a little bit. Now, if I'm looking for lights to put in a house, lamps or something that I know I've gotten as a tote bag favor from someplace or as a swap, I know right where to go for it, and I don't have to look through 9 boxes. I only have to look through one little one. So it's just,
No, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's great.
it's
Okay.
good with the small stuff, but you have to find out what works best for you. So far, this has been working out for me when I'm looking for stuff. It's just now when I get something new, I have to just sit and sort through it and make sure I put it in the correct, because I'm still finding stuff. I'm still
Thanks for
figuring out and
sharing
finding stuff
your
that has to be
idea.
categorized, but
Thank you. Think of things for how-tos, think of things, techniques, whatever, that intimidate you.
Hmm.
What is something that you would like to do, but you're not sure of the procedure to do it? That's the type of things we want for
Mm.
the how-tos.
Mhm.
And what
someone-
intimidates you,
think
such
it-
as flowers, might not be someone else.
Mm.
But the different ideas, things that you would like to learn more about. And again, in the chat box or email one of us or whatever.
And yeah, like the other night, someone said about their table saw. They know how to turn it on and off and put something through, but they don't know how to cut pieces all the same. They don't know how, which is more about jigs than anything, but
Mm.
so we will have 1 month on table saws. If
Or were
you're
you going
afraid
to
to
talk about
turn yours
beads or
on.
something?
What?
What?
Were you going to talk about beads, you said earlier?
Yes, beads is on the list of,
I kind
Yes.
of wanted to save
Sure.
specific items for specific months, but you can talk about them, Preble, if you want to. I don't
It's
care.
I mean, I can or I don't, it doesn't matter to
It'll
me.
be repeated. It'll probably be repeated later on, but somebody wanted to
I mean,
know,
I showed
so-
I talked about the paint, so I mean, if you.
Yeah, and
show
I'm
the
gonna,
bead.
at some point, I'll show my paints, but I'm not gonna do it tonight. Yeah.
yeah.
I
Um,
think this is wonderful.
I mean,
That's
if
What
you
we're
want to see the,
watching
really
now
very
is,
encouraging.
do you want to see the beads or do you want me to wait?
I think wait until we go to that
Okay.
side.
All right, sounds good.
What we want tonight now is topics of what,
Right,
and then anyone that can join in when we do that topic. Because, you know, the more ideas, the better, so people have choices of how they want to do it.
Maybe we
Marcia,
should take
one of
before and
the-
after pictures too, huh? This is the room now, and what it looks like 6
Yeah,
months from now.
right.
That would be good. That would be
Hopefully.
good. Marcia, one
Yeah.
of the things I know a lot of people have problems with storing is wood.
Yes,
And
that's on the list.
that's on the list. Okay.
Yes.
'Cause I
Strip
actually
wood,
have,
sheet wood,
Yeah.
components, you know,
yeah,
finials and cove moldings. Oh, and that's another thing that's on the list is cutting moldings and stuff. It's on
The
the house.
list is on the chat now. Somebody put it on the chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay, good.
that's the storage one. It's not the how-to one, but yes, it is on there now. Yes.
okay. Okay, I was just gonna say, I know lots of people have mentioned at various times that that's
Right.
tricky,
And
and I found one way that works for me.
Yeah, that is
Sort
the
of,
first thing
sort
on
of.
the list is wood.
Okay, well, I can't show you till April, so.
Yeah. But yeah,
so, Elaine earlier mentioned that she has 2 homes, which is wonderful, problem
It's
to have.
confusing, trust me.
The thing that I would say about that, whether it's, you know, your vacation or you know, literally you're split between you know, different locations, is have 2 sets of tools.
Oh, yeah.
One that's your
Oh,
travel
yeah.
set, and
Yes,
then
yes.
one that stays, you know, in
Yes.
in the main place.
Preble, that was the very first thing I did.
Yeah,
What was go through all the tools I own, figure out
I
what I
wouldn't think
already
you
have
were not
duplicates of, and bring a work toolbox down here that stay. A lot of things stay here. It's what I'm going to actually work on during the months we're here
yeah,
that becomes a big question mark.
right.
And make sure I have all the parts I need to
Yeah.
go with whatever I want to work on. And then the finished projects stay here. So
Right.
I have a break front that is slowly filling up with finished pieces that have
Alright.
been
Awesome.
done
Awesome.
down here, because why drag them back to St. Louis?
Yeah.
Especially since I belong to a club here in Florida as well.
Yeah.
So,
I did travel with my miniatures back in May of last year. It helped that I was focused on one project and I knew what paint colors to take with me. But you know, I did have several, you know, packages that went with me, and I was compact. So if you're going to do it for a short time, be focused about what you're going to need. And it's better, in my opinion, to do a kit than to try to do DIY, because then you're like looking for everything.
yep. That is what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, only kits down here.
Kelly, I see your suggestion about Dremel.
Yes.
Mhm.
And another thing I thought of was storing, not storing, displaying your finished projects.
Yeah, that would be good.
Gotta have the space to store.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So anything else that anyone has thought of, like the Dremel and sorting dies that Sharita put in?
Mm.
Fabric storage.
Yes, that's on.
Okay.
So
Does
when-
anyone else save just little bits and pieces of just random stuff in
Yep.
case you need
Sure.
it?
Oh, yes.
Sure.
All the time.
And
I
that's
just going-
definitely a good topic for how the heck do you store the weird shit.
Yes,
Excuse my language. Sorry.
But it's
Well, the biggest
amazing,
thing
Yeah.
is finding it.
it's
on the
amazing
little-
how many times I will say, I have the perfect thing for that. It's some
Somewhere.
little something I cut off of something and I
Yep.
go to it, I can find it and I use it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
my
trash,
place is a mess right now, but if you ask me for something specific, I could probably put my finger on it.
sorting and storing trash.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Oh,
not
okay.
trash.
One of my little photo boxes that I have in that case that I showed you, okay, is labeled leftover graphics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when I do a kit from Robin Betterly, you know, you have something and sometimes she gives you more than you need and you hate to throw out some of the little cards or book covers or something because you think maybe
Right.
somewhere along the line you can use it for another project. I have all of that now in one of those little plastic boxes. So I mean, as I said, I still had to sort through that to find what I want, but it's not as bad as what I had before. So
I have a solution for that one.
Okay.
Sue Ellen is saying recyclables, not trash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Sue Ellen, you're right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, trash to treasures. Jackie and I are trying to come up with a time that Rusty can get on at an earlier time than midnight for her
Mm.
and a day and all, where Quarter Connection and MCC can get together and have Rusty show us some of the things that she's made out of everyday things. Because growing up and starting on some of this stuff during war years and all, where things were unavailable, she is really good at coming
Mhm.
up with ways to do things with other things than what you have to buy.
It would be great.
Yeah.
So Jackie and I are working on that.
Hmm.
And when it's convenient for Rusty and everything too.
Yeah. 8 hours ahead. So
Okay, I will change the trash to recyclables,
okay.
if I can spell it. Okay, very good.
I used to be so organized and I've often said I know where everything is 3 houses ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what we want to get back to.
Yeah, oh
That's the
gosh.
goal.
Joey.
Anita, I had the same problem. I had a
Did you?
workspace downstairs in the house. I live in a 2-family. For anybody who doesn't know, it's family home. My grandparents used to live downstairs. After my grandmother passed away, I moved my workroom and all my stuff downstairs. I have all those cubbies, bins, baskets, drawers from, well, here it was AC Moore, but you know, like Michael sells
Mhm.
Mhm.
and these modules. And eventually I had a whole wall full with these modules. I had a walk-in closet. I had all my paints. I went to Home Depot and bought cheap, you know, those metal brackets and put them on the wall and put wood and had all my paints hanging on the wall, in the closet and everything. When my mom passed away, I had to rent the apartment. So
Yeah.
I lost all that storage space. I had
Oh,
all my
man.
miniatures displayed in that apartment. I
Mm.
had this closet, the room, everything. I had to bring everything up. It's in my mother's bedroom, which is a smaller room. So it's a lot more crowded. I don't have the walk-in closet. I've got a mess.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
had everything decently organized. I have everything marked, you know, all my drawers and all the cubbies and everything that whatever have labels on them and that, which is fine, but I don't have room anymore basically to
Mhm.
move. You know what I mean? I don't have the space up here anymore that I used to have. And I
Mm.
can't use my basement because it's too wet and damp. I
Yeah.
get water in and
Mm.
stuff, and I don't want to put stuff down in the basement
Mhm.
right now. And I don't have the money to do anything in the basement to not make it wet and damp and all that kind of thing. So, you know,
Wow.
my biggest problem is not knowing how to organize. It's just the space to put the stuff that I do have. If you
Yeah,
know
and
what I
right
mean.
now,
Yeah,
it's been
that stuff.
mentioned that Hobby Lobby and Michael's and some of those places and some of the like Staples and all, they have filing and storage things on sale. But
Mhm.
don't go out and buy stuff unless you know for sure that you're going to be using a certain size or whatever. Until we get to that point.
One of my favorite places the last couple of years has been the Container Store.
Mhm.
Love that
If you
place.
know those,
Yeah.
I get emails from them. They keep sending me things for closet systems. I wish I had a closet in this house where I could get a closet system.
Yeah.
Okay. I live in a 100-something-year-old frame
no
house. My
closets.
house was built in 1901. They didn't have closets in
No,
1901.
they didn't. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And
So
Julia's
there were only
Julia's dream
closets in
box.
the freaking house because my parents put an extension on the house in the 60s. So I have one nice big closet here in the living room, but it's got all the clothes and all kinds of photographic equipment from my father and like all kinds of other stuff in it. And I had the one closet downstairs that was my grandmother's bedroom closet that you could walk in and have lots of room that I could put all this stuff in when I moved my workspace down there. Other than that, there's not a closet in this house.
Wow.
So I don't have a closet to open up to store stuff in, you know? It's like some of you I envy who have like houses that you have an extra bedroom where you have a nice closet and you can make a craft room. I don't have that kind of space. Not possible. So
Barbara, you have anything else to add to this?
I'm not sure if she's here. Oh, here she
She's
comes.
here. There
She's
she is.
coming.
Good,
Okay.
Barbara.
Unmute.
Barbara, you're muted.
Is somebody muting
Barbara,
me?
there.
Are you muting
No,
me?
you're
because we're
muting
too
yourself.
noisy?
No,
No,
she
I
isn't.
haven't.
There was talking, and so I
Oh,
muted.
okay. There
Okay.
is talking going on here, yes.
Yeah.
So, what were asking me?
Anything else on this subject for today?
Not on my topics, no. There's just so many things that it can cover, so I didn't want to get into everything today.
Right.
But put it on the list and put your name next to it if you particularly have it urgent. And we'll be announcing what we're going to talk about each month. And
Shirley,
Yeah,
I'm trying
cool.
to read your deal, but it's so long, but I am going to print the chat box.
Marcia?
Yes.
One other thing, I know we were talking about sometimes you put things in a little plastic bag. I would recommend if you cut off the number or where you got your little item from. Was this an item from a store, Etsy, a swap? You know, a swap you can usually tell because somebody's name and email address is on it, but let's say if you get things from a swap and Etsy and if you want this specific item, or you know, like one of the dealers, it's a good, you know, then you know where to go to get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
your chips
yeah,
and dips.
I did that with my beads. When I buy beads, I cut
Mhm.
off the number
Mhm.
or the name of it or the top of the card if it's on, you know, a card with a bag and put it in with whatever.
That way it
So
comes
that
in
when I
handy.
buy more of that, I can find it again, you know.
Yeah, because
idea.
you'll
Know
have
what
a
it does.
specific number for that bead, an 01 or 011 or one.
Right.
That way you know which bead is what.
Mm-hmm.
I don't change it on you.
Oh yeah.
It's also good to put the date and the price that you paid.
Mm-mm.
I don't keep that. Yeah, I don't keep any of that information.
Okay, just put the date then.
I don't really want to know how much I spent on things.
Exactly.
For anybody
and
else
if-
to know.